Hi all, welcome to this FUT Birthday LucasPaqueta Player Review. Very nice card, honestly, 86 rated card, which is obtained through doing objectives through squad battles. So not too bad that front. You've got 4 to do in total, which are all fairly straightforward if you're at least even half decent at the game. But if we can smash links, so would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, G is a legend. All the links are down below for playlists in the channel and social media links as always. Comment down below if you've completed Paqueta or even Bellarabi for that matter. We decided to focus our efforts on Paqueta because it's easier to link up into our team. So we basically went into FUT Champions with our main team. What we did is we swapped out Cyprian, put Rivaldo at left defensive mid and put Paqueta in at where Rivaldo would play at central centre mid, and just kept him as he was, as basic. He has 84 pace, 83 shot, 84 pass, 90 dribbling, 66 defending and 79 physical. He has been given quite a bit considerable increase across the board, plus 8 for shooting and passing, pace 9 pass and 9 dribbling, 6 defending and only 2 though on the physical, but regardless it's still a significant increase. And for me, I would say in-game wise, when you kind of break him down, he definitely ticks a lot of the boxes. However, the biggest negative that I will say right off the bat is his balance. His balance feels pretty non-existent at times, which is a bit of a shame really, but he still slots in very nicely as a central centre mid or as a cam. But we've played 6 games of weekend league with him, and the 4 games that we played last night kind of showed his real worth. He's got 5-star weak foot, which for me makes a bit of a difference, but nothing that's going to drastically worry me as well. He's got 4-star skill moves, but the biggest thing that I felt from him was his shooting was what was a big difference maker. He is left footed, so and his right foot, when I did score one or 2 goals with him with that right foot, he has 5'11" high medium, 6 games, 6 goals, 5 assists. In game stats, he has 82 acceleration, 85 sprint speed, which goes up plus 5 with basic, 89 attack positioning, 83 finishing, 85 shot power, 81 long shot, 77 volleys, 83 penalties, 82 vision, 76 crossing, 81 free kicks, 87 short pass, 85 long pass, 89 curve, which all vision, short pass, long pass, curve go up 5. So bit of a handy improvement there. Agility up 82 goes up 5 to 87, balance is 75, which as we did say is a bit of a negative. 88 reactions, 88 ball control, 93 dribbling, 91 composure, 71 stand tackle, 61 slide tackle, 64 defensive awareness, 61 heading, 63 interceptions, 83 jumping, 86 stamina, 72 strength and 82 aggression. Jumping and strength go up handily, which helps, and obviously defending generally goes up plus 5 across the board. And I would say that extra 5 for shot power does help, and we also tested out his penalties. We got given a penalty in 1 game. Now I would say as well, what I found pretty interesting about this card was first 2 games I couldn't really do much with him because the game was an absolute struggle to work with. In the second game, however, was a different matter, and I'm talking like significant difference, where for the 4 games that we played in the end last night, he was able to kind of show what I feel he's a bit more capable of. And I will be honest that it's to see him go from 2-star weak foot to 5-star weak foot, there is a big difference. Now when I break down the stats further, I would honestly say centre mid cam is perfect for him, and if I was to go with any cam style, I'd maybe improve his I'd personally say try and improve the shooting, so maybe like a marksman, deadeye, sniper, something like that. Anything that can boost up that shooting and passing, even physical if you wish as well. Anything that improves those departments. Like even though when I was playing with him, when he was getting his chances in the games, he was taking them. When I was having to pass, he was generally doing it. Even when balls were going in the air, he was able to win some of them, which was quite impressive. Now, for me, in terms of comparisons, obviously you're going to be looking at other like mids that are like free, or even whether it be from icon swaps, or even players that you've maybe obtained in general throughout the year. Paqueta is a good card, but he's not going to suddenly change your team dramatically overnight, I'm afraid. If you've got to be accepting of that. Like, even though I was able to kind of run a bit right, in one of the games in particular he got 3 goals and 2 assists. He was able to basically turn the game upside down with a hat-trick and 2 assists against a very impressive German opponent. Found in the end that he was a pretty impressive player, but we just found that Paqueta was able to just take his chances, and it was for usually when I'm doing some reviews I sometimes struggle for footage. Last night for him was like a gold mine. I was able to get so much with him, and he was doing so much for me as well. Big positives of him. Like, for obviously worth it, he's like 9 out of 10. Even if you're not going to find him fitting in your club in like your starting 11 or even as a sub, definitely go and do him at least. It's worth doing, not just for the packs but the card in general. Give him a run out at least. You'll have a bit of fun, and like, to go from 2-star weak foot to 5-star is a big difference. It's major. You'll see the difference right away. I've only used the base card a few times, but this version there is an apparent difference. But I would say, depending who, like for you, like your centre mid cams at the moment, for me, he wouldn't. If I was like my main team, he ain't going to get in over Rivaldo normally anyway, I'm afraid. Rivaldo, I feel, just is a little bit better, despite Rivaldo himself only having 2-star weak foot. But I've grown so used to Rivaldo that I know what his strengths and weaknesses are, and while Paqueta, I know what his strengths and weaknesses are. I'd rather stick to what I enjoy, and I'd rather keep Paulinho on full chem rather than 8 chem. But regardless, he is a very fun card to use, and like Deadeye, Marksman, Sniper, all those chem styles are best suited for him. Boost up, as I said, the passing, the dribbling and all that. So for me, in terms of like your comparisons, you could even see, like, when you compare like Lipmanen and Loundrop, those types from icon swaps, or even if you've got the Zanolo, for example, from like the Future Stars, like, there's so many mids that you could easily put in over Paqueta. That is the biggest problem. Even though he's a fun card to use, he's someone that's just sadly at this stage of FIFA just not really cut out to kind of be like an endgame mid, as it were, which is a bit of a shame really, because I'll actually be honest as well, when I look at this card I feel they could have increased it a little bit more to maybe even say like an 88, kind of stand out a little bit more from what it was. Like, I know it's meant to be about an 86, so it's not too hard for objectives, but at the same time, but at the stage of FIFA where you want to have cards, while they are fun, you want cards that you would say to yourself, I want to have this card in my team maybe for like till either team the season, or at least give it a couple months at least, give it a bit of longevity about the card, not something that's 5 minutes. Like, for me, you'd be perfect for Serie A's icon swaps. Obviously now that I've done that, it's no big deal, but for most people he may fit in your Brazil squad if you're trying to make like a Brazil midfield, or Brazil or a AC Milan past and present, possibly even that type of. But for me, in terms of breaking them all down, like for worth it, he's like 9 out of 10. For usability, he's like an 8, 9 out of 10. But at this stage of FIFA, he's sadly just not going to cut out. Sadly, and that's the shame about him, because you'd want to at least give him a good run out, have a bit of fun. Like, after these 6 games, I probably won't play him anymore. Might put him in like an SBC in due course. So hopefully you find all of that useful. Let me know, folks, in the comments down below if you have completed them. If so, what did you get from your packs, from the objectives as well. I know some people have been struggling with the volleys, which I did as well. Couldn't stop hitting the post to save my life. Hopefully you find it useful, folks. As I said, he's a good card, but not one that's going to excite us all for the rest of FIFA. So welcome to Smash Like always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GIsLarry. Take it easy all, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.